Hi everybody, Zach here for another episode of our flagship program, The Spideydude Experience. This episode is brought to you by our loyal patrons over at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Pledge today and get both early access to content on the main channel, as well as entirely exclusive content, like brand new shows and commentaries for old Spidey stuff, including commentaries for the MTV series, for example, as well as the video editions for voices from the Eyrie Gargoyles Podcast. And our Patreon first show focused on the Krakoan era of X-Men. We also want to encourage you to check out our other programs that are all available on Audio Edition. These are all over on Spideydude.com, and they're available on your favorite podcasting app. Shows like Clone Saga Chronicles, the show that started this entire network, Spectacular Radio, Spectacular Sal Buscema era podcast, Amazing Spider-Man Classics, the Slot Symposium, and the sister program on this channel, Make Mine Mayday. As always, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help us big time in the algorithm. And additionally, if you have topics you'd like to cover on a live show or in a recorded medium, make sure to leave a comment down below the description or shoot us an email at SpideydudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Finally, make sure to join our community. Be alerted to all new updates by hitting that subscribe button and clicking on the bell. But to be clear, your viewership is more than enough for us. And if you want to hang out with us off YouTube, you can always go to our Discord, where we have all sorts of fun stuff, or you can join us on our social medias and follow us there. All the links are down in the description below. As always, we want to be making some references to visual aids and or live comments. If you're an audio listener, pay that no mind, but leave that 5-star review for us. Any and all feedback we will read on future episodes. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get rolling with this episode of the Spideydude Experience. And welcome everybody to the latest episode of the Spideydude Experience. I'm Zach Joyner. This is the second episode of the show with covering Ultimate Spider-Man, as me and Neil are fighting behind the scenes. We are going to be covering everything on Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 2 tonight, and I've got a great panel lined up for us tonight. I am broadcasting not at my usual location. I'm broadcasting because I had to do some babysitting and do the fatherly duties. So, hello everybody, welcome to the show. First up, we've got Jackpot Josh himself. Hello, Josh.
Hello. You like the little? Just trying to grow my facial hair, just like the Peter of this universe.
Oh, I like it. So you can prepare it for the cosplay.
Exactly.
Speaking of this universe, we've got Ultimate Adam. Hello, Enchilada Legs himself.
Hey.
And we've got our good buddy Neil Bogenrider, the host of the Books of X podcast, the Patreon exclusive show over on patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Hello, Neil.
It's me. I'm Cyclops. Gene!
And we have a special guest, Ashley. Hello, Ashley. She has been a friend of mine for a long time. And
very long time.
Only 20-something years. And so, yeah, she was like looking to pick up a new book. And I was like, hey, this is a perfect jumping on point with the Ultimate Spider-Man series. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about her thoughts here in a little bit. We already got some live comments in the chat. Hello to Walter. He's making jackpot jokes already. So we've got a lot of people watching.
Face it, Tiger. I'm going to say that thing from ASM 42.
So yeah, okay. So Ashley, I'm going to pick on you a little bit.
Please don't.
Just
Stop bullying her. Stop bullying her.
We want her to come back.
No, I'm not going to pick on her like that.
Fill the bench.
He will. Don't let him lie to you.
Oh, hey, look, we have a full panel tonight. It's Javi.
We've got Javi. Hello, Javi. I'm going to switch me and Neil. There we go. Hello to Javier. He is the host of the Amazing Spider-Man Classics podcast here on the Spideydude Radio Network. Hello, Javi.
Hello, panel.
Yeah, Javi.
An ultimate panel.
Yes, the ultimate panel. So, all right, we've got one issue we're going to cover tonight. We'll do a brief recap. We'll give our thoughts, but I wanted to actually give her a slight superhero origin story. How did you get into like comics and stuff like that? And tell people a little bit about yourself.
Oh gosh, I didn't know I had to talk about myself. That makes me nervous. I don't know. I've been into comics since pretty much birth. I got into the DC universe, super big into Batman. Yeah, and that kind of just spun from there. Got really big into video games. Yeah, and then now do cosplay and all of that. So.
Well, there you go.
Javi, not Javi. Josh, don't put a price on my head.
Josh is making jokes in the comments.
Don't do this to me.
Where is the jackpot T-shirt? We've thought about doing a jackpot T-shirt. Listen, I've thought about doing several different T-shirts, so don't tempt me with a good time there.
I can make them.
Ooh, all right. So, yeah, you've got a store that's going to be relaunching soon. So whenever that happens, we'll let people know. Okay, so all right, we're going to go around the room. Let's talk a little bit about Ashley. We'll let you talk about issues 1 and 2 together, but kind of give our general...
Oh no, we could just talk about 2. It's totally fine. You don't want to hear all the thoughts.
Like every time Zach says something, no, we're going to do it your way.
So okay, let's give our thoughts on issue 2. Or do we want to do the recap first? Let's do the recap.
Let's do the recap.
Yeah, let's do the recap. All right. So, Neil, you got the recap, buddy.
You pointed the wrong direction, but thanks.
You got the recap.
He's Josh now.
What is this? Like everybody just points in a direction, like the Spider-Man meme?
We hope we hit something.
We are trying to do the Spider-Man meme, yes.
Okay. Last issue on The Ultimate Spider-Man. Peter has a midlife crisis. MJ is married again. There's 2 kids. Matt Murdock isn't Daredevil. Peter lets a spider bite him on the nipple. And now, Spider-Man, issue 2. Written by...
I have to mute already.
Written by everyone's favorite chart-spewing guy, Johnathan Hickman, and Daredevil artist Marco Checchetto. In the past month, because it's now February, Peter Parker has gone through some changes. He's now stronger, faster, studlier, and his wife points that out. His daughter's May, right?
Yes, daughter is May.
Yeah, his daughter May is like, oh, he's scary, and Richard's just like, it's Photoshop. The deep state is trying to get you. It's all Photoshop and CGI. And MJ notices that Peter's been working out.
Why do I give you recap responsibilities?
Because you're too lazy to do it. So in the past,
facts.
In the past few weeks, Peter has changed a lot. Peter's eating 10,000 calories a day, which is just how much I eat in a day. But he's gotten instead a lot stronger and a lot faster and very, very sticky. He's got his spider sense, but he doesn't really know what it is. And he crashes into a water tower because he isn't really sure about... He doesn't really have control over his strength or his stopping power. Meanwhile, in the Russian-Turkish baths, Jonah and Ben are doing Brokeback Bugle as they talk about the truth. And,
Brokeback what?
Bugle.
Neil, are you trying to bring the funny? Is that what's
Are you
Sounds like it.
Are you mistaking this for a Crawl Space episode there, Neil?
Yes.
Just checking.
So anyways, at Brokeback Bugle, Ben and Jonah are discussing the truth and what's been happening to Fisk in the past month. Peter is doing some crime fighting, I guess, and he's swinging across the city when he notices a man who I guess is Sledge from Rainbow Six Siege trying to break into a building.
Listen, don't hate, okay? Don't hate. That's what I'm drinking out of right now.
Sledge from Rainbow Six. So he notices Sledge trying to break into a building, and Shocker's like, "Oh, I'm actually a good boy. I'm just desperate." And Peter falls for it, and he goes, "Just call me the Shocker," and blows Peter into a dumpster. Okay, my glasses are fogging up. This isn't working. Peter gets home, grabs some ice cream, and reminisces over his failure. And then he looks over to the corner. Oh no, his daughter saw him break into his own house. She's beginning to freak out, and Peter's like, No, shut up, little girl. Here, have some ice cream. This is our little secret.
What was that? He said. That's not what he says, but go on.
Neil's making stuff up.
It's not a crawl space review. We're just making shit up.
It's not a crawl space show.
But Peter tells May that he got bit by a magic spider. And he's like, listen, let's keep this between us. Here, have some ice cream. There you go. Are you happy now?
There we go. That's
Okay.
better.
So the next day, Kingpin is meeting with Captain Britain, who is talking about, hey, listen, man, we gave you a bunch of power. It's time you started using it. Yes, Javi, you are hearing feedback as well. But for those of you who don't know, Captain Britain is one of the Maker's Cabal who's overseeing the rest of the world. He is in charge of Europe. And I guess the Green Goblin's been a thing, and he's been trying to make several hits on Fisk, and this is Captain Britain saying, listen, man, we gave you a lot of power, so you best use it to stop it. And by that, I mean, I'm going to point at this guy who's very clearly Bullseye, and I'm going to tell you to use him to kill the Green Goblin. Peter's later texting with MJ, and he gets an alarm, and his costume turns very closely into a symbiote, but it's different because it's not nanotech, it's picotech. There's a difference. And he sees that Shocker is back at it again. Peter says, listen, you're supposed to barricade the windows, and this time the offensive team's going to charge in. And Peter does get Shocker down to down on his knees, and he goes, oh, my wife, my poor wife, she's dying. I can't pay for the meds. And Peter says, oh, that sucks, man. And he goes, wait, this is a trick again. Yep. And he blasts Peter off the roof again into another dumpster. Meanwhile, as Shocker is using his gauntlets to get away, the Green Goblin watches him from a distance. Peter comes home, his ass kicked yet again, but he comes home to see a drawing of a spider on the fridge from his daughter, and Peter, who had previously considered hanging up the webs and not being cut out for it, says he'll keep trying. To be continued. That's it. Next time, Peter takes down the establishment.
Okay, I have to share this right quick.
There's not going to be any audio. Oh my god, he did it!
You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
Oh, sorry.
Pause it!
I paused it. My bad. All right. Kicking it off the screen. You said Shocker. That made me think of that. I'm sorry. And I don't have my soundboard to put it on the soundboard, so you had to all suffer through that. All right. So, welcome back. Let's go.
That was a lot.
Who's feedbacking?
I don't know if it's me, if it's...
Hang on, Ashley, can you mute yourself real quick?
Let me see with Ashley.
Okay, let's hang on.
It might be where you're at, Zach, just being a very echoey room.
It may be, yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's probably what it is. It's because there's tons of space in here. So sorry, guys. And it may be the fact that my headphones are loud. So
it's fine. We're good. You might just be capturing a really wide audio net just because you're using the built-in mic and not.
Yeah, because I packed everything but the microphone when I packed everything in here.
Okay, so let's go around the horn for grades. We'll start with Ashley. Ashley, what's your grade on a F to A scale?
No, don't put me first, please.
Okay,
No.
Adam, you set the standard.
A. It's an A.
Okay. Now Ashley.
It is an A. It is an A, but I don't like being first. Don't put me first.
Okay, I didn't. I made you second after Adam.
All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna do
Alphabetical. That's what we're doing.
Oh crap! Now I have to think about this.
Who's next? Javi is
gonna be
next.
Javi,
then?
then Josh.
It's Javi, then Josh, and then me, then Zach.
Yep.
Well, I hate to tell Adam and Ashley that they're wrong, but they're wrong. It's an A plus.
Right.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh,
I could probably give it. an A plus.
All right.
No flaws detected.
Yeah, honestly, you're right.
I have a flaw, and my grade isn't going to reflect like a C or anything, but it is something I.
Josh, what's your grade?
Apparently an A plus according to the screen, but yeah, it is an A plus.
All right, and then I'm going to give it, as I scroll back up, because
I'm in
Just
alphabetical
skips.
order.
Just skips over Neil. No big
Neil,
deal.
what's your grade?
I'm giving it an A.
Okay, so A for Neil. There's Neil's grade, and then my grade is going to be A plus. I am going to agree. Okay, so Jackpot Josh, why do you give it an A plus?
Because I'm looking forward to the next issue, because I read this as soon as I possibly could, and because it feels like Spider-Man. Like it's so dumb of a reason of like, yeah, it feels like Spider-Man. It feels like the Spider-Man I know. But compared to what we're getting in Amazing, like, yeah.
How vague of you.
I mean, I got pretty low stand. I'm not all like I know a ton about the colors or the writing details and stuff, but like compared to how I'm reading some of these other Amazing Spider-Man comics or some of the other tie-ins we're getting, where I am dreading reading it and just reading it for the sake of I'm reviewing it. It's like, this is actually enjoyable. I'm actually enjoying the story. I like the dynamic that Peter and his daughter may have in this. Whenever Peter and MJ text or like have conversation, it actually feels like husband and wife. It doesn't sound like jokey, oh, this is how they talked in the 80s, like, oh, I love you so much. Like it actually does feel like how a husband and wife that actually love each other would talk. And yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Javi, your thoughts?
Pretty similar to Josh. This isn't a comic where I read it, I'm like, why did I spend $5 on this book? It's a comic that I'm waiting for the next chapter so I can keep going. And like Venkman pointed out in the comments, it's got this great like Lee Ditko vibe because he does lose his first couple rounds. But the way the dialogue is also kind of gives it like a Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man feel too, without being too Bendis-y.
Right.
Bendis?
Bendis,
you mean Bendis the comic writer? Bendis?
It feels very like back and forth, snappy dialogue. So it feels very Ultimate, but it also feels really classic too. And it while we see other, characters like Kingpin and Ben and Jonah, like it still feels like this is Peter's story and they're his supporting cast, which in contrast to like today's issue of Amazing Spider-Man, like I didn't really get that vibe that Spidey was the main character in that. And this I do. And it's fun. Just the conversations he's having with himself, like it's all familiar to us because we've been reading Spidey for however long, but it feels fresh, which is like, that's a really hard balancing act to pull off. Like it feels classic, but new at the same time. And I like this angle of mashing up like different aspects of prior Spider-Mans and making it seem like its own new thing, and the journey of self-discovery that Peter's going on and having the inner monologue of like, so am I just perpetually behind on my evolution as a person because I missed 20 years of doing this? Am I always going to be behind? Like that just seems like the kind of thing he would be thinking about swinging around town. So
I love that. Like there's a lot of people who come, like there's the Stan Lee wrote his first comic when he's 45, like those kind of inspirational TED Talk things on like Facebook that are clearly just clout chasing. And this kind of felt like that actually put into practice, like someone who's way behind on the curve, like going, oh, am I actually going to be able to do this?
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. There's a good balance of humor and family life stuff. And the art is gorgeous. So that's why I gave it an A+.
Ultimate Adam, your thoughts?
Well, the art is beautiful. So it's got that going for it. Every time Checchetto draws Peter with this little slight smile on his face, I just love it because it just nails this kind of content serenity on his face. I don't know, it's so nice to look at. Yeah, I mean, I think this is perfectly balanced, more so than the first issue. We get a lot of Peter's inner monologue. It's what we're all here for. He does feel like he's leading the story. We get some interesting B stuff with the supporting cast.
He actually has a supporting cast for once. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly think the pacing is perfect. Compared to today's ASM issue, that thing flies by way too fast, but this I think is honestly perfect. I see people saying that this seems too decompressed for $5, but I don't know. I think it's just right.
How many pages was this again?
You get a lot of
22?
It was like 22, 23 of story. Yeah, I don't know. It's a joy to read, and his relationship with his daughter influencing how the suit's going to be going forward, it seems. I love that. I don't know. It's just I think it's perfectly balanced.
As everything should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I highly recommend it. It's just very on Twitter today I said it was a balm to the soul, and I mean that. It's just great to read.
It's very cathartic. I agree with you.
Very
Neil,
emotional. It's
your
very
thoughts?
emotional.
So I only had one. It's a kind of, I don't want to say it's a minor quibble because it might impact the long-term storytelling, but it's the bit with Kingpin and Captain Britain. Mostly because you kind of need to know why. You kind of had to have read Ultimate Invasion to know why there's a one-eyed British French dude in my
British dude, fire purple people here.
In my American comic book. Get out, Brits. But
with the Brits.
They made beans on toast.
Oh, well, I mean, that isn't listen, their food is an abomination. As somebody that's ate their
kind of
cuisine,
good though. I don't know.
It's
Good
terrible.
to me.
I do enjoy Girl Dad Peter. I kind of want to see how Peter's relationship with his son develops because, like, his daughter is like kind of unconditionally supporting him, but I get the vibe that that Peter and Richard have a very distant relationship, and it's going to be divided further, or it's going to be even more distant because of his antics as Spider-Man. But I like having to watch Peter kind of grow into his powers. He doesn't really know what he's doing, and he's kind of just stumbling across crime. Like you said, he didn't have a with great power comes great responsibility moment. It's more just a baked-in sense of obligation, plus Iron Man telling Peter to abandon his family and join the Schizo Squad.
I do like that he's kind of naive, and I saw people criticize like, oh, he got beaten up by Shocker twice, he fell for it, but yeah, I liked it. I like that he's kind of naive. He's just starting out.
And plus, he's a guy who believes in second chances inherently. I like the idea.
Yeah,
exactly.
Peter, it kind of ties into Peter trying to find his purpose, which is kind of the thesis statement of issue 1 is Peter finding his purpose and reclaiming it, and being more willing to give Shocker the benefit of the doubt. And I think that these two fights where he fell for Shocker's BS twice, it's going to color how he approaches other superpowered criminals from now on. He's not going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
And it works too because this is a clean slate. Like we don't know the Shocker. Like he could have legit. There was that possibility for a moment that it could have all been true because we don't know this guy.
And Peter's a family man. Like he gets it,
And he even appeals to Peter's sense of family. He doesn't know Peter has a family, but he appeals to Peter's like, my wife, Spider-Man, my wife. And Peter's like, oh, it's okay, dude. But also that costume is totally going to be Venom at some point. Like the way it's the way it's visualized, and I don't think it's going to be like the Venom like in issue 6, but I think that at some point the Picotech, because it's okay that someone on Twitter said that like, why are we forgiving Peter having a nanotech costume? And someone's like, it's not nanotech, it's Picotech. There's a difference. Picotech is smaller.
Okay.
Oh, pedantic nerds.
Also, I love the way they use Green Goblin in this book. Like they showed him bombing the Kingpin once in issue 1, and they've implied more attacks since then, but they don't show us. And I like that he only appears in one panel, and this is going to appeal to Javi because I know Javi's a Batman fan, but it reminds me a lot of the enemy of my enemy thing from the Robert Pattinson movie, where Selina and Bruce both work to take down Falcone, but for completely different reasons, and they're going to end up betraying one another at the end of the line, or at least come to a fork in the road. And Javi's frozen in place. I didn't appeal to his love of Batman like I thought I did.
I was just trying to
Definitely
think
not mine.
who was stabbing Batman, or who was stabbing who in the back in the Batman between Batman and Selina is what I was trying to figure out.
Well, I don't want to say they're like stabbing each other in the back, but it's more like their alliance of convenience kind of comes to an end, and they kind of go their separate ways, despite their attachment.
I was also distracted in the comments about Neo looking like Madam Web.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, so I guess
my web connects us all.
Ew.
The ultimate web connects us all.
Anyway, so I'm going to let Ashley go, so that way she's not going last and giving her thoughts. I'll go.
Oh, giving my thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can make fun of me all you want. I'm giving you permission on the show.
I mean, the guys basically said how I feel, although I want to dive a little bit deeper into the Uncle Ben and J. Jonah, like, buddy friendship. I love it. I couldn't stand J. Jonah from pretty much any of the other Spider-Man universes. He always was just a little bit of an irritating character to me. Sorry. I don't know if that's
blow hard.
Yeah. But I love that they're like two like cutesy old men that are like, we're best buddies and we're hanging out now. I like that. I do like the naiveness of Peter Parker just starting out, you know, taking people at like, oh yeah, you could change, and then, you know, getting burned from it. And I think that's really going to shape his character like moving forward. And I don't know. I just thoroughly enjoyed this issue. I like the series. I really do.
Yeah. Did you? And you said you liked issue 1 as well, right?
I did. Yeah.
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 So I'm in the same boat. The J. Jonah Jameson Ben stuff is probably the most compelling part for me, besides Girl Dad Peter. I mean, as a girl dad myself, it is very heartwarming to see Peter and
the relationship.
Yeah. Well, as somebody that's also a huge Spider-Girl fan, seeing a new book with a version of May, not our May, it's not Mayday Parker, it's just May Parker in the Ultimate Universe. Seeing that relationship develop. I mean, look, is this a little bit of wish fulfillment because I'm 35 and he gets to, you know, be a girl dad and I'm a girl dad and this is like made for me, you know.
He's got a beard. You've got a beard.
I've got a beard. I can finally comfortably cosplay as Spider-Man if I get into a shape that's not round and being in a shape.
But do you have a Picotech suit?
I don't have a Picotech suit, sir. But you know,
fake fan.
I'm such a fake fan. That was me trying not to do Trump while simultaneously doing Trump, and I apologize. Anyway,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Failure.
Yeah, F in the chat. But no, I can tell you. Thanks, Josh. Now you guys are all putting F's in the chat. Anyway, but so look, I am a comparing this to Bendis's run for a second. Bendis had a tendency.
I didn't want to go there.
Here's the thing. I can see the. Wait, can you guys see the rest of the chat? Okay, I was like, I can see it. I could have pulled it up, and I showed it with strength. Your God is showing mercy on you tonight.
So for audio listeners, he put this. Peter has more hair than Zach.
Fantastic.
So yes, listen. Just because my ex-wife's got half my hair and the divorce twice, doesn't mean that
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Yeah,
it went
it's-
dark.
Well,
I'm gonna edit that out of the audio version.
no, leave it in. Leave it in. It's fine.
Okay.
My pain is everyone's amusement.
Not
Anyway,
mine, Jesus Christ. Anyway, moving
It's so
on.
Going
bad that
dark fast. Jeez,
I know.
Louise.
This is
I
not an
need to go-
episode of Mike Tyson Mysteries.
Okay. Anyway, so again, comparing this to Bendis's, Ashley is like trying her hardest not to just die laughing right now. To compare this to Bendis's run for a second, Javi, I like the fact that they're using Shocker here as a legitimate threat. As
He's not a jobber.
He's not a jobber, though. And you know, for those that don't know wrestling parlance, jobber means a guy that always loses, right? And in the Bendis run, he always was just this punk that Peter kept stopping like once a week until finally, eventually, they made a story out of it because, you know, the Shocker in the 616, he's a John Romita senior creation. He's Stan Lee, John Romita senior creation. So it's like he's a B-list character. But Herman also is a little neurotic, especially when he's written by certain comedic writers like Nick Spencer. So here, him being treated as like a semi-legitimate threat, I like the fact that, like what you're saying, Neil, they're slow playing the Goblin. Although he's on all the promotional stuff, right? He's on the cover of the issue, which I'll pull up for those that are watching us live here. I mean, he's on the cover, but he's not a major part of the issue. He is just, you know, he's a force of nature, which kind of reminds me a little bit. Javi, do you remember when Checchetto was doing the Punisher book several years ago? And Adam and Josh, you can jump in on this.
When who was doing Punisher?
When Marco
Marco
Checchetto,
Checchetto.
when he was doing the Punisher book.
When Punisher had a girlfriend who also went on mass shootings with him.
Vaguely, yeah.
So like Punisher was like a force of nature. He didn't hardly talk.
Yeah.
It kind of like he just owned the page. I kind of get that feeling with Goblin here. He's kind of being this force of nature, this big bad that we're going to see. And I like how they're in the similar vein to Ultimate. There is history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. And here with Kingpin and Bullseye, very clearly Bullseye, as Neil pointed out in the recap, you know, we're kind of getting similar elements here to the 616, and I really like it. I like the fact that there's not an Ultimates. I like the fact that we don't have other superheroes that are running around necessarily.
Well, you say that we don't have an Ultimates, but in June 2024, by 20th Century Men writer Denise Camp, we are getting one.
We are getting the Ultimates later on this year.
I'm so excited.
But I like how they are slowly building out this world. Somebody did ask in the chat, and I'm going to ask everybody's opinions. Ashley, you can refrain from this particular part because you're not reading ASM. Thank God. Do I think it'll outsell the main ASM book? I think this issue probably did. I mean, it's going to its fourth printing. There's very clearly a demand. I think retailers really did not expect this to be as big of a hit as it is.
Yeah,
so
they did.
You know, I think I don't think it will replace the main book, but I think it will definitely. It's going to ensure that we're going to get more Ultimate.
I think 2 issues getting second printings at least guarantees a year of issues.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If not 2.
Let's look
The
at
question-
like Renew Your Vows, like the actual ongoing Renew Your Vows.
Yeah.
Like that first issue sold through the roof.
Yeah.
And my reviews on the crawl space, that's probably like the review that's had the most clicks on it was that review. Because there was a bazillion variant covers that boosted those sales. And you see it a little bit with like a second issue. But like if you look at the sales for 3, 4, 5, and 6, that's where you're going to figure out where this book is going to land sales wise for at least a little bit.
Throwing up the variants right now so that people can see them. These are from Marvel.com's official website. There's
And
probably
Yeah, there's still like a few, even for like the third issue. Like they've slowed down, but they still have quite a few.
And I think people are legitimately trying to go out and find this issue. I mean, the fact that we're getting a fourth printing of last issue is a testament to its popularity, and that retailers are going, shit, we should have ordered more of these. So I think that's a good sign.
Well, to be fair to retailers, Marvel did a really bad job explaining that this is a new Ultimate Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they did.
They didn't give people an idea of like what their projections were. So it's less on the retailers and more on Marvel for not prepping them for how it was going to sell.
But then Marvel gets to say, "Oh, we sold out. Fourth printing now."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a chicken or the egg scenario.
Yeah. The big question is going to be whether or not Hickman remains interested in Ultimate long enough to get us past the first year of issues.
I hope so.
Because Hickman is a guy who routinely starts out with like these really big concepts and a lot of promises, and then he gets like bored and then leaves. Like if you look at his X-Men run, like House of X Powers of 10 started off really fast and he had like 19 issues, and then like he's like, okay, I'm bored, I'm leaving.
For more, listen to the Books of X podcast, available on patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Anyway, Ashley, do you have thoughts? I mean, you can throw your 2 cents in if you want. No,
she's muted. So okay.
Nope, 0.
Oh, okay.
Head empty.
I'm just gonna let you guys. I won't speak on topics I don't know like shit about. So that seems to be you guys.
You can throw in your 3 cents. It's fine. That's we're here to discuss and talk. So
yeah. No, I'm just listening too.
Zach, I was gonna say, just going off of your point there about how there isn't like any other superheroes kind of in there. I kind of like that where Peter's swinging. He's like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do now because it isn't really a concept, right? For the last
all he has for frame of reference is like a bunch of guys ruling the world, and then like a voicemail from Tony Stark saying, "Hey Peter, you were supposed to be a superhero. Go kick ass."
Yeah, and he's like, I guess I'm supposed to stop you. Like I think that's what I'm supposed to do. Like I just love that he's like trying to like figure this out as he goes. Kind of like, all right, I'm smart, but I still have no idea what I'm doing.
It's really refreshing to see a fish out of water, Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. But he is still the driving force in the story.
I'm of 2 minds on like I don't think Hickman is downplaying Peter's intelligence, but he's not making it a central part of the story. Like he doesn't have like the physics in his brain since he was like 16 of how to web swing properly. He's kind of just fumbling his way through. And I don't think that's Hickman like doing like a slot thing where Peter is just a dope and he's like slamming into things for comedy gags just for the sake of it. I think that Peter's intelligence isn't going to factor in as much as like the 2017 cartoon where he's like, oh, I love science.
Oh yeah, science. Yeah, we'll use the scientific method to defeat the bad guy.
We're going to use the Pythagorean theorem here to
I'm going to do Godwin's law. No, wait, no, that's Nazis.
God, okay, that escalated quickly. Javi, what are you thinking?
About what? I got Neil tangented me. Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Punch him in the face. I hate these guys.
Exactly.
No. Just do it. Take me out. I'm done.
And this is why he does the show with his son and without the rest of us. Anyway. Go on.
No, I dug the book. I think seeing, like I said earlier, like just seeing him having to discover it, and like we're just getting started too. Like Radiox making some comments about like MJ's involvement. It's like, well, we're still rolling here and playing things out and establishing ground rules. Like we really don't know what MJ does for work either. Mm-hmm. Other than she hates Photoshop.
Who's the babysitter?
That's a good question.
Gwen or Felicia?
That's true. Yeah.
I'm pining for either Felicia or I would like Christy to show up, but that's a deep cut. So
Bambi, Mandy, and Candy.
You know, I was thinking it would be nice to get like an annual, and we see like how Peter and Mary Jane met, and we go through like the last 20 years.
I'm of two minds of that. On one hand, I think it's good to like build out the world, but on the other hand, I kind of like that the book just kind of plops us in like 20 years later and goes, "Oh, just don't worry, just go with it."
Gail, I understood that reference.
That's like okay.
That's Mary, for those that don't know, that's Mary Jane's sister.
But isn't her last name different? Because she
It
got
was.
married.
Well, she
and
did
divorced,
get married.
but I don't remember what it was.
It's Randy.
Michelle Rodriguez. Gonzalez. You're thinking Michelle Gonzalez, not Michelle Rodriguez there, Walter.
No, I think it's funnier if like the real life Michelle Rodriguez comes in, like
She
"Oh,
shows
yeah, it's
up,
me,
she's
I'm
a friend of
the
Mary Jane's.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm in between Fast movies, so I guess I'll watch your kids. As a
She
favor to, like,
wrapped
MJ or
she wrapped up
something.
all her
Yeah.
her stuff when they were filming part 1.
Oh,
You think of I was about to make a Paul Walker joke about the Maker saving him, but that feeling like in cold taste.
but I think we're only at issue 2, and I think we'll get, more MJ. We'll get more of Richard,
Yeah.
and kind of figure out more of what the family dynamic is, because there's only so many pages.
She's
So
Mary Jane is very prominently
On the covers.
on the cover of the third issue's variant with her business stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get some of that soon.
Also,
Got a little hint
I-
in this one, but
I like that Peter has like the only person who knows Peter's identity is a 7-year-old girl who he has to trust to keep her mouth shut. Like it would be easy. It would be easy if it was his wife who can practice some degree of discretion, but no, this is a 7-year-old. They
Listen,
do not shut up.
As a father of an 8-year-old girl. Yeah, you ain't wrong.
that's
Like,
actually
I'm sitting
like,
there reading her Harry Potter tonight, and then she's like having to throw in her 2 cents, and it's really, really adorable and cute. But I'm like, do you want me to read to you, or you want to comment? She's like, I guess I'll let you read.
Well, Tavia, this isn't Mayday. This is May.
Yes, I want to
Christy-
stress this because we're going to probably stress this a lot in the my Mayday episode whenever we do our next recording. This is not Mayday. This is May, little 7-year-old May. Not Annie, not Mayday, just May.
I gotta point out again that Peter got like no genes through to his kids. It's all MJ in there.
The redheaded G strong,
was-
bro.
well, it's funny because
She looks
someone-
amazing, by the way. Like
Who,
her
MJ
character's MJ. She grew up very well. She aged gracefully.
She used all the proper products over the
Yeah.
years. There's no wrinkles and no, she looks like a model. She looks like a
when do
model
we
without
think
being
that? When do we think she's going to be let in on the secret? And how
When the sun-
badly
when-
is this,
when the-
is this
when the
going to
sun
go for
dies.
Peter?
It's going to
Final-
probably be issue 6, and it's going to be Peter prediction time. Peter's going to come home, beat the hell up, and then he's going to have to explain what the hell's going on.
I think he's gonna explain to it when like the sun dies and he has to explain to MJ what happened.
Dude, you are
Deal
so
with
trying
the
to kill
dark
that
side.
scene.
Oh my gosh.
I actually think it's going to happen. Like I think that this is gonna be like Peter. Like this is gonna be Peter's like wake up call to like take shit seriously.
I mean, this Kingpin, I wouldn't put it past this Kingpin. He's very imposing.
Like he's literally got a guy with an eye patch who looks really evil next to him.
So that'll
who's
be
gonna
like
fight.
his Uncle Ben moment is his son dying.
That's my prediction. I'm probably wrong, and I know Zach is gonna laugh at me like when the run ends and the sun is still alive. But that's.
I'm betting you a Coke that the sun doesn't die.
I'll bet you a free thumb. I'll bet you a free thumbnail.
Free thumbnail. Okay, all right. I'll buy you a Coke. You get me a free thumbnail. All right, that's fine. Ashley, he does all my graphics.
A Zach was right thumbnail.
Zach was right. Thumbnail. Would
Like
be
a
like this.
5-minute video where I'm like held hostage at gunpoint. Hello,
I
my
will
name is
drive
Neil.
to your house and we'll do it together.
Like a hostage style video. Hello, my name is Neil Bogenrider. I work for Spideydude Radio Network, and I just want to say, I blinked twice to show that I'm being held hostage. That Zach Dusty Joyner was correct.
Well, Tevi is asking, what happens if Uncle Ben dies again? Then it's
No,
just
he's-
a canon event.
No.
Tradition.
He's
could
too
see that
narratively
happening.
He's too narratively
Yeah.
important.
Yeah,
Uncle-
but I could
Uncle-
that I think Uncle Ben has a higher chance of dying than the son.
And I don't think Uncle Ben's dying. I think Aunt May being dead is the help push. Now, do I think Uncle Ben will eventually do the with great power there must also come great responsibility?
I hope not.
Was that like your Anthony Hopkins or what was that supposed to be? I don't know what that was.
Look at this place. Home.
He just makes voices to make them sometimes. Like it's so bad on call.
Yeah.
Whoever
It
is
wasn't
wrong
Martin
has to read
Sheen.
jackpot out loud on the
So-
show and do all the voices. No, one of us has to sing Cats. All of Cats.
No.
We're amping up the stage.
Dude, okay. No. I remember having to watch Cats in theater class when I was in junior high, and I have disdain. I'll watch most any musical theater, but I have a certain level of disdain for that particular Broadway play. And then people were like, "Are you going to go watch Cats when it's in?" Like, I'm like, and then it got review bombed to hell, and I'm like, I was proven correct. That looked like prison ass. It was prison ass.
Can you do Master Splinter as Uncle Ben?
With great power, there must come great responsibility. I haven't watched a TMNT episode in a long time. So
This is where I gotta do the Batman voice. This is where my parents died, Raphael. Cowabummer!
whoa, bro. Let's go get some pizzas, bro. Anyway,
Let's talk about your parents' death over some za.
let's talk about like surfer dudes for the 90s. So memories. So yeah, so I'm putting a marker for that because I'm gonna have to do a clip of that ridiculousness. So I'm gonna read out some of the comments so that way people from the audio side. This was
We
a
have something
radio.
to talk about.
Yeah, Radio X said more than likely all the points have been covered, but one thing that he hoped was getting better developed is Peter's family. He's liking where it's going with Jay and Ben, but MJ has just been there. Sure, second issue, but I do hope that she gets to do something interesting. It's one of his main gripes of the 616 MJ that they never let MJ to be MJ. When she is present, she's just another May.
So okay, I'm part of me kind of likes that she hasn't had like that big of a presence in the book. Like she's not like the second main character, mostly because like I'm getting Renew Your Vows flashbacks where like the book kind of beats you over the head with the "we're a family, we love each other" line.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I didn't hate it, but it's like the book was very clearly banking on people going like, "Whoa, they're married! I'm gonna buy the book now."
Right. Yeah.
It's
It's
where-
nice that it's just like it's a constant in Peter's life. It's not a
That yeah.
the marriage works best when it's not the central focus. As somebody that's reading the early days of the marriage right now in my chronological read through, I am going back and rereading Marvel Team Up because I didn't ever finish Marvel Team Up. So I'm going to finish that before I move on to. I'm basically at 1990 with McFarlane is where I've stopped. So playing catch up right now, but having read every bit of the early days of the marriage, they tried to make it a central focus and just instead of letting it be. And I think it worked better when they let it be in the Clone Saga and then later on after the Clone Saga. And I think that with here, just letting it be is that he happens to be married with kids, but he's becoming Spider-Man for the first time.
It's gonna throw a wrench in that machine.
Yeah, there's going to be some source of marital conflict, which I think works. And it's something that a lot of us over the years have said that you can write marital strife in there with that, but it's doing it what they did in the early days of the book where it was causing friction between MJ and Peter, but it didn't feel organic or authentic. It kind of felt forced. Whereas here, because there's this pre-existing marriage and relationship, it doesn't feel that organic and forced if that's the way they're going. Hopefully not, but if that's the way we do it, then that's the way we do it.
Tevye kind of asked the same question like 5 times, and he asked if this book will replace ASM. No.
No, it's not.
This book is okay. Not to put too fine a point on it, but this book is kind of writing on the premise of it's an alternate universe that the maker has screwed up, and the entire point is to set it right. And by that logic, I don't think this book will take over. It might outsell ASM, but I don't think it will overtake ASM's importance in the editorial hierarchy.
And I'm also going to say this too. The original Ultimate Spider-Man also outsold ASM when it was being published for the first few months and the first years. So
and who did they bring on after that? JMS.
Wait.
So if anything,
what's wrong, guy?
I think it'll get Marvel to kind of.
Well, it was Jenkins first, and then JMS eventually, and so I think it will help elevate.
But it was still Mackie and Byrne. You know, like when Ultimate was happening, it was still that, right? And it was still them. And then like Jenkins came in and took some of the workload off Mackie, and then when Mackie left ASM, it was JMS. So like, I think if ASM doesn't do as well as they're hoping, and Ultimate is starts to overtake it a bit, I think they'll start thinking, well, what are we going to do to shake up ASM?
Yeah,
in a way that fans will maybe be more responsive to.
Even just namesake alone, you don't have to be a comics fan to know it's the Amazing Spider-Man, not sensational, spectacular, ultimate. There's a bunch of different adjectives.
Anything else is ancillary.
Yeah.
Tevya asks, why do you want dark stuff in this Ultimate Spider-Man book? I'm assuming it's because I made a joke about the sun dying. I don't think I want dark stuff. It's more me using kind of Spider-Man historical ley lines to kind of make an assumption that someone is going to die, and because they made such a what? Go ahead, Adam.
Oh, go ahead, Neil. When you're done, say
most of me using a logical through line to assume that someone will die, and because they've made such an emphasis on the family component of the book in advertising, not necessarily in the book itself, that someone in Peter's family is going to suffer the consequences of Peter being Spider-Man.
So
there's already a lot of darkness lurking in the shadows of this book.
The maker alone, like ruling the world through a shadow cabal, is kind of
there is a level of darkness that exists in this book.
Because I'm creeping toward the surface.
Also, because I'm a pedantic nerd, I went back and looked to see when the month was that the Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man was published. And it was during the Maximum Security storyline with Mackie and Ramita Jr.
Jesus.
And Typeface was the.
Oh yeah.
It was the Jenkins.
Don't you slander Typeface, sir?
Typeface
he was in an Academy Award nominated picture last year. You can go to Helvetica.
Listen. First Typeface. Who's next on Zach's slander list? Are we going to see slander of Big Wheel, Cardiac? Who's next?
Neil is on that cardiac train lately,
dude. Neil was kind of super horny for Cardiac right now. Look, we got a pupper.
Hi, Puppo.
He got camera shy.
Listen,
I've popped up on my camera.
I've had a fascination with Cardiac for some reason. I can't explain it, but he's on my D-list radar for now.
So there's a quick question. When was Spider-Man's first space outing?
This is actually a Comics Binge tie-in question. So we had this question last night.
Even podcasts have tie-ins now. Oh god.
His first space. Well, technically, would be his first issue because he was in low orbit.
But he wasn't in space. We're talking like outer space.
Oh,
are we talking like anytime he's visited like Battle World, or like does it have to be like in near Earth orbit?
Outer space.
Yeah. Has to be the Captain Universe because he threw the Hulk up into low space orbit.
There's Marvel Team Up.
Okay, I haven't read Marvel Team Up yet. Okay, I haven't read Marvel.
He goes to the moon with Adam Warlock.
Okay, I hadn't read that part of Marvel Team Up yet, so that is my bad. So I'm going back and
wondering if
filling
that
that
was
hole.
the first.
I think that is
because of the glare, but
yeah, I think that might be because I don't recall him going to space in the 60s or 70s. up until that point. So
And there was the stuff we were talking about last night with Adam Warlock. There's this whole long arc that went between Strange Tales, then Warlock, then an Avengers annual, and then the Marvel 2-in-1 annual, which saw Spider-Man and the Thing fly into space and see like Sanctuary 3, I think. Then Spidey's just wigging out, being in space and seeing a spaceship.
Ashley is going, what the fuck am I getting myself into?
I'm like, why am I here? No, just kidding.
But see, here's the reason. Now, let me give the reason to the audience, because I talked about this with the guys. I wanted perspective of somebody that is knowledgeable about comics, but somewhat of a normie when it comes to Spider-Man specifically. Like you represent a very big part of this audience that I hope is finding the book and reading the book maybe for the first time, or I could sit there and say, hey, I've got somebody on my panel here that, you know, there
has a finger on the pulse.
Yeah, of more, and you have a female perspective. That is very valuable, and so that adds to a certain degree a different level. So that's why
You make this less of a sausage fest. So thanks.
You make this.
I wasn't going to say that in that particular set of terms, Josh. But go on. Thank you.
I put in the DMs the Hog Squad, and I'm surprised no one has called us that.
The Hog Squad?
Because we're a bunch of pigs.
So
why?
How about that cliffhanger and that note from May?
Yeah, I thought that was
seeing what Peter's. You know what? Something I didn't think about, and it wasn't until I went to like Discord or something. The final line of the issue. Some people kind of took that as calling out past regimes, and I didn't really think of that until I read their thoughts on it.
I do
think
that.
Did that strike you as like a jab at any prior Spider-Man stories?
I don't know if it's deliberate or not, but the wording is a little on the nose. So
I liked how they worked in like kind of like a Spider-Man No More. Like, I don't know about this.
And then, like half a page.
And then he's like, no, I'm going to keep going. Like, I just like the familiarity of concepts and then the subverting of expectations.
I think Comics Twitter is going to lose their minds. OMG, Spider-Man got his logo from literal child. Marvel Comics is so cooked now.
I hope it looks exactly like the picture that she drew.
like Peter just like got a picture on a scanner and he's like trying to Photoshop it onto the costume.
I do like you can tell when you go to like even the cover of the next issue, it shows his chest spider is kind of based off of how she drew a spider.
Yeah.
That's like a parent thing, though. Like, you want to display something like art-wise or whatever that your kid did, you always try to take it almost exactly as they draw it. So I
hope MJ didn't see May put on the fridge.
I mean, I've seen people that they'll take it, you know, they'll take a drawing that their kid did and put that as a tattoo on themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
like I think it'd be hilarious if like MJ's in the kitchen and May just puts it on the fridge and she goes, "What's spider?" And she goes like, "The one in Dad's dreams, the magic spider."
Yeah, but like it makes like his costume really cool now because it's not just like the costume he put on to be showy on TV. Like this is like a part of his family that he's taking with him in the battle, which gives like his classic suit like a whole new meaning in this context.
I got a question. What do you guys think of? I made a joke about Shocker looking like Sledge from Rainbow Six Siege, but like,
hang on, I'm gonna pull up an image of Shocker while you're working on that
But like, what do you think of him? Because I see a lot of Stark, like a little bit of Stark tech in there with the gauntlets.
Yeah,
but I'm kind of curious. Actually, it looks very similar to like original Ultimate Iron Man in the gauntlet design. But I was kind of wanted to see what you guys thought of like a very bulky, chunky Shocker who looks like he's gonna blow down a house hunting people.
I like it.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was cool.
Normally I wouldn't like the MCUification of costumes. It's like we wanted to go super realistic with this design, but I like that this looks really homebrewed.
I think it
like
works.
He just has like the gauntlets and then like someone's tactical vest he stole from a locker or something.
Damn it!
I mean, it's
Hang
the
on a second.
whole
Yeah, well,
the whole vibrational
I've got it pulled
thing.
up.
It
Hang
would
on,
make
I'll just-
sense that he would have all this padding.
There we go. I'll just do that.
Oh, you had it. Okay.
I had it. It just wouldn't let me save it. That's the design for those that have not read the issue. Which, if you have not read the issue, go pick this up. Go to your local comic shop and pick this thing up. But I like the ski mask element. I do like that they incorporated the mattress padding.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a question? Well, obviously it's a question, but do you think that as the world around Spider-Man evolves, we'll see the characters go from more realistic, like tactical uniforms towards their towards their 616 counterparts? As the world evolves and more people get access to this hardware?
It'll be interesting to see if we see that. I think they're trying to make this as inherently unique as possible, and I think this is giving them the ability to work out. You know what I mean?
This is what I meant by the fact that.
Okay, yeah, that does give me that vibe. So, I think this gives them the freedom to experiment with designs, and I think that they're going to try to keep things with the superheroes, maybe the similar. But with the main suits, I think they're going to try to keep it as classic but slightly altered.
Maybe because if you saw the bullseye from for the cover for
I
next issue,
love how Bullseye looks. Honestly, the mask is fucking cool.
But we all know, like, you take a look at like Zach said, the yellow mattress work, and they're like, all right, obviously that's Shocker. Like,
yeah,
like obviously it looks like Bullseye. He's got the literal target on his head, but like it's the I don't know what kind of mask it is. What do you guys think of that?
I love it.
Hang on.
I think he looks cool.
The next issue has the Kingpin on it. I'm not seeing.
Well,
I think this is an alternate cover.
Yeah, I think this is now the new issue 3 cover. It was posted and recently and
then subsequently ignored.
I do like that design. I had not seen it.
I appreciate the only thing they really changed was the mask. Like other than that, it pretty much just is Bullseye.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that because on Marvel's website, this is still the cover, which I've got right here.
Well, Radiac made a good point that like Shocker is a good character to do like those sort of realistic tactical variants with, but like the more outlandish we get with characters like Scorpion, we'll start to see more of like classic comics costumes built around the Ultimate aesthetic, rather than trying to kind of dissect them from the ground up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think Scorpion will have that same origin. There's not this mad on of hatred of Spider-Man, at least that exists with JJJ, which I am glad we're seeing. Even in the 616, that's gone away now that he's revealed his identity to Peter. It'll be interesting to see if he reveals his identity to either Ben, Jonah or Ben.
Well, now that I think about it, Zach, and since you brought up Uncle Ben dying, I wonder if Uncle Ben dying in your kind of pitch for the road going ahead would incite Jonah's hatred of Spider-Man.
There you go.
Good, and actually, that would give a very valid reason instead of it being very vague. The way it, and even
where you can like easily change it depending on who wants to write what story.
I mean, having gone back and read a lot of these old issues with Jonah, the motivations have always been very. I think Peter David tried really hard to give him something legitimate in the grievance, and I think he did a good job. Unfortunately, if you try to go read that on Marvel Unlimited right now, you can't find it. Because it's one of the many lost issues of Spectacular Spider-Man that are not published. Or it's either Spec or Web. I think it may have been Web, actually. Excuse me. I misspoke. So again, you can't go read it, can't go find it. So, I'm going to go around the horn. Anybody else? I mean, we're at the hour mark here. If we've got more things to say, obviously we can keep going. But I thought, we could talk this issue to death.
The one thing I have some reservations on, it's really just because I like Checchetto's art so much, but we're getting a fill-in artist soon.
Yeah,
like
after 4 issues, we're getting a fill-in artist. That's a little
nothing against the fill-in artist. It's just like, man,
like they built it on Checchetto, and then like less than 5 issues later, we're getting a fill-in.
Right.
I'm not surprised given the size of issue 1, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
It is double sized, so
issue 1 was double sized. So I'm not, and he's a pretty slow artist. He's not the fastest in the world. And when you look at the detailing in his art, I'm not surprised. I mean, he gives a semi-realistic take on it. I've loved his stuff going back even to when he was brought in during Brand New Day. I thought he did a great job. I think he just brings every one of his characters plays well and moves well. You can feel the movement on the screen. You can feel the commanding and the presence that is brought to, like when he's doing Spider-Man, when he's doing the Goblin, there's a presence that he brings to the art that I think really kind of exemplifies. And I think he's a good designer. I think his designs have been really freaking solid.
Yeah.
And not everybody can pull that off.
He is the one I was going to say earlier. Someone asked, like, oh, why? Because Neil brought up the gene thing, Peter's weak genes, and someone asked Checchetto, like, oh, why do the kids have red hair or whatever? And Checchetto said that was his decision. Like, that was all him.
Yeah.
MJ genes reign supreme.
Maybe he has a weakness for redheads.
Okay, so this is mainly a me thing. I kind of want to pick your brains on what you guys thought of. I don't know who here read Ultimate Invasion or Ultimate Universe. I think I'm the only one.
I read Ultimate Universe.
Okay, but for those of you who didn't, I kind of wanted to pick your brains on what you thought of like Captain Britain coming in and talking with Kingpin, alluding to the larger world of the Ultimate Universe, and how that's going to tie into like Ultimates or Black Panther or X-Men.
What I like about it, I'll be honest, is the fact that it is going to make you have to go back and read other books. And it does it in a subtle enough way to where I think it makes you interested as to what's going on. I do wish there would have been a dialogue box.
Like an editor's note?
Like an editor's note for people to go do that. I think that's a missed opportunity, truth be told. Because I think that's going to assume that people are going to go back and do the homework. But those issues are available right now on Marvel Unlimited. You can go find them very easily. And so if you've got a Marvel Unlimited subscription, I think you can go and do that. They're also available digitally online, so I think it, because I mean, I read Ultimate Universe before issue 1 came out. The good thing about this, and I, Ashley and I kind of talked about this together. I don't feel like you have to go read those issues. Ashley, you weren't lost, right?
Not at all.
So again, I like the fact that, you can give these 2 issues to somebody and they're going to understand what's going on.
So Radiac isn't incorrect that his accent is kind of cringy, but I get the point. I get that the idea is that Captain Britain is meant to be, I don't want to say an imperialist metaphor, but he's meant to be a pan-European cabal owner. So he's meant to represent all of Europe, and that French kind of sprinkled in as sort of the dialogue shorthand to show that.
Well, given the history of Britain in general, there was going to be a lot of French influence anyway.
Yeah.
What I liked about the scene in particular was it being a showcase for Kingpin. It made me more interested in Kingpin's character here. So
Also,
I think it was pretty successful.
Also, it's important to note that Kingpin isn't like the guy taking over from Howard or Obadiah in the Maker's Cabal. He's like one of the goons who worked under the Pan American coalition. He's just like one of the guys who has like a little fiefdom.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see who takes over that spot from Howard and Obadiah in, like, I'm guessing Ultimates, because that's probably where that plot point's going to carry on.
But I do like that we're getting breadcrumbs for other books to where people, when you're doing world building, in my opinion, there's good ways of doing world building and bad ways. You know, to contrast this, and I hate doing this because I don't want to dog on ASM. This is not an ASM episode.
Yeah.
But during Gang War, it became very evident. It's like, oh, go to your different corners of the internet.
To the tie-in dimension with
the tie-in dimension, you know, so to speak, where you go, everybody's going off doing their own things in these tie-in books.
Thank you, Tyler, for that little
Yeah,
bit.
that was a very astute point by Tyler. I will agree with you on that.
That's Josh.
That way.
Thank you.
The hair's Neil.
Josh has better hair than me, so don't...
Josh does have fantastic hair, and I'm extremely jealous.
So let me ask another question.
Pretty much everybody has fantastic hair, but me in this particular chat. So, you know.
Well, that wasn't gonna be my question about the hair.
I mean, Peter's got the best hair out of everyone here.
Dude, yeah, look at this. Look at this luscious mane right here. Bam. Look at that.
This is a question that kind of ties into the into the Maker's Cabal thing. Are you guys interested in Ultimates?
No.
Just going off of what was announced, or going off of the Ultimate Universe tie-ins?
I'm intrigued by X-Men, maybe, honestly, out of all the... Mainly because I think Peach Momoko's art. But yeah, I think that one's the one that kind of has my intrigue.
Because I read...
I'm with you, Adam. I just don't want to read it monthly. Like, especially with the Japanese influence, like, I would rather read that as like a trade. Like, just give me a big fat trade now.
Yeah.
Big old trade.
And Evelyn seemed interested in it too, and I think I'll just wait till they put out a trade and give it to her and see what she thinks.
Okay.
There you go.
Because
I do like... Speaking of Ultimates, though, I do like the Giant Man, Ant-Man design.
Oh, that costume looks great. I love the shonen influence, or the comic.
We might as well throw that up on the screen, the first cover.
Hang on, I'm pulling it up.
I mean, I like good masks and helmets, so, you know, I think the Giant Man one is cool. It almost kind of has like an Ultron vibe to it a little bit. Like I said, I think the Bullseye mask is cool. Yeah. Green Goblin's pretty cool. Like, it's a little simple, but I think it kind of gets the idea across.
I've seen people speculate that it's going to be Scott and like some equivalent of Hope from the MCU, and not Hank and Janet. But I would like to see Hank and Janet in a timeline that isn't filled with slapping and physical abuse. I'm not joking.
Poor Sal Buscema.
No. I'm talking about the Millar portrayal in Ultimates, where like he physically assaults her with like ants, where she shrinks down and he sends ants after her,
and then freaking hits her with raid.
Right. I really like that this Captain America does and have like an excessive amount of red detailing on every on his shoulders and stuff. Like every single kids cartoon thing always gives him like the red on the side of the stars and then extras on the shoulder stuff. I like that they kept it a very plain look.
I'm interested to see, because you know, in this universe, America doesn't really exist anymore. It's part of like the North American
conglomerate.
Right. So I'm kind of interested to see, like, you know, Captain America is like a nationalist, or not a nationalist, but a nation-based character.
All right, he's Captain North America now.
he represents not only America but Canada.
Oh, perfect.
Why
Even
are you Scottish?
And Scottish, apparently. I threw a Scottish accent.
Oh God.
But I'm looking forward to this title. I know that, like, you know, I'm the most
okay. Let's ask the normie, the not normie. But Ashley, would you be interested in this title?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not just me.
So Neil doesn't feel so lonely. I'll read it. I'll pick it up.
Because I read
Neil
Ultimate-
makes very valid
Read it.
points and arguments for things that he says, so I appreciate that.
I'm
Neil-
also looking forward to it because it's a 20th Century Men writer, and that's a phenomenal book. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with this title.
You caught Neil on a good day.
I'm not like an absolute crank who's just wanting to BS my way through a discussion.
Well, it's for those that watch our other shows with ASM, he's so apathetic to ASM right now. You could kind of tell when we discuss it, but here, because we're discussing something he's passionate about, and if you watch us on Books of X, it's a very similar thing. So I get it. You know, when Neil's engaged and he brings up really astute and
I try.
I think it's the glasses,
Neil got
to be
engaged?
honest.
You know, when he's doing his best Scott Summers impression.
Gene.
All right, we can take that off the screen there.
I was muted earlier. I was trying to make a point to touch on what Radiac had said earlier with Kingpin. Like, because of the way the Ultimate Universe has worked in the past, like it always feels like we're just modernizing old stories, but with like a slightly different twist. If you wanted to kind of stay in that vein, obviously, like Ben and Jonah don't seem like the kind of people that would make a Scorpion to go after Spider-Man because they don't have that animosity. But someone who is tied in with the Beagle and could be using it to his advantage would be the Kingpin.
That's a great point.
Especially if we're going to keep going down this route with the Goblin going after him, like what would be more sensational a headline than some other insect monster man fighting insect monster man B?
I am
the kind of
I am
steal
headlines. Absolutely okay with them not using the Oscorp trope that we've seen so often in adaptations with Spider-Man. Where
It's like now it's all Kingpin. Kingpin's behind all the villains now.
you know, if we have to have a big bad that's in charge of some villains here, I'm okay with it being the Kingpin.
Yeah.
Because like that does show Fisk's connections with different and various worlds, and it also goes into like what they've actually done in the 616 in the past too. So
it's like
I'm okay
he
with
lets Scorpion out when he needs a distraction from something else he's trying to do to make the bigger headline, and kind of goes about it that way. Like,
because
if they did that, like I'd be okay with that. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100% agree with that. Jackpot Josh, what do you think? You only did that to appease Walter, by the way, didn't you?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't even hear it, I don't think. I think he left. You don't have to put
he's
oh,
probably
he's gone? Great. Yeah, I'll change it.
He's in hibernation.
Listen, the man's taking a nap. He's been fighting the good fight against the Big C. So,
I got it.
Right over your head. Right over your head.
Neil.
You're in rare form tonight, Bogenrider. I'm confused. Is it because we have the pretty girl here? Is that what is? Did it throw your game on?
What? Don't drag me into this.
I know. I'm just giving him shit.
Oh, that's why he's wearing the sunglasses.
When I get the sunglasses on, the gloves come off.
You wear your sunglasses at night, just like the song says.
I'd actually be interested to see like how Kingpin would use Scorpion as like a propaganda weapon. Like, oh look, a giant green thing that looks suspiciously like the Goblin. I wonder what that's connected to. Like that kind of. Don't, Eric. We don't bring up Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
We don't bring up the cest of N. Trying not to get
the pig Latin of Ultimates.
I'm trying not to get demonetized. Okay.
So much weird stuff in that. Like
I didn't say that.
And that was Jeff.
Me.
Listen, Jeff Loeb was going through some shit. Okay, I know he just lost his kid and everything, but like, can we just say that he was going through it and he decided to be gross and weird?
To be fair, Millar did not set a particularly different bar.
I mean, somebody asked, I think Radiac asked if Cap has F in this universe, if the F stands for France, which is an which is from an infamous panel that Mark, because you had Mark Millar, who was actually Scottish.
Well, it's
sitting there
actually
writing
it's funny
Yeah.
then that Captain Britain is French.
If
maybe
I was,
they
if,
fought the 7
if-
Years' War, Adam. You
if I
don't
was-
know.
No, I'm just saying it's funny.
If I was
'cause,
more
like,
conspiracy, if I was more conspiracy pilled, I would have said that was a slight against Millar, but I don't think it was because I'm not brain addled
Yeah.
by conspiracy theory.
I just think it's funny when it's like, oh, the A doesn't stand for France, and then you have Captain Britain who is French.
I said some very colorful things in the group chat when we were talking about that.
Oh, dude, it is. Sometimes I wish we could publish the group chat, but there's so
No,
much. that we
that's an
cannot.
awful idea. I am
I said-
more than happy keeping it. I'm not.
So okay, Javi, but when I had to go run to the loo, when you were talking about the one more day bit, I never saw that as a
I didn't even it didn't even occur to me
as
until
like
I saw that remark, and I was like, oh,
But when one more day lives rent free in your head, and look, y'all know how I feel about the community that's over there at the other place
The place.
that I was a part of for 17 years. I have a love and affection for it, but sometimes, and there's even people maybe that are viewing this right now that may think this. They have let their disdain for what has happened in the 616 permeate themselves so bad that it then just they have to start seeing tea leaves and finding connections to things that don't necessarily exist. And I just don't feel that you should live your life that way when it comes to Spider-Man, because otherwise you're going to be effing miserable. And so
That's the F Captain America had.
Yeah. Just enjoy the ride, bro. Just be chill.
No, I'm gonna be eternally unhappy and miserable for the rest of my life.
Listen,
checks out.
I mean, we've joked about the whole we've joked about the whole thing about I'm a Spider-Man fan. I also hate Spider-Man as much as I love it. We're Spider-Man fans. Of
And
course, we're going to sit there and
Don't mess with us, Spider-Man
Gobsmack
fans.
over-
We hate the character.
Yeah, I thought
of course
I
we're
mean, I
going to
thought that was-
gobsmack
I
over
thought
Mary
that was
Jane's
funny.
bazungas.
I thought
We're
that was
Spider-Man
funny, but
fans.
some people were just like, some people took that like seriously, and it's like it's a joke.
If it's a tongue-in-cheek reference to the fact that people reacted the way they reacted when online whenever they saw the initial image by Stegman with Peter and his two kids and MJ, sure, okay, that's a wink and a nod, but like, bro, quit trying to read into things that don't exist. Is my point.
Listen, guys, I get it. I'm not a huge fan of ASM right now. Gang war, more like snooze war. But
Am I right?
but I don't make gang.
This is a preview for our next episode coming to you live tomorrow.
It's I don't make like talking about this run and getting upset about it like my life's work. Please go outside. I love you all.
Go touch
Get some vitamin D.
Yeah.
Touch some grass.
Go do some yard work. That's what I did today, and I felt great.
Yeah.
Listen, trim your yards, man.
Oh yeah, you guys don't have snow. I was so confused. I was like, "What the heck are you talking
Well,
about?"
Listen,
Josh.
It hit 60 degrees today.
That was
It
minus-
was-
No.
It was
It
minus
was 80
15 Celsius here.
It was 85 yesterday.
That means
It was-
nothing to me. That
Okay.
is so hot.
It was warm yesterday. It was cold today. There is a 30-degree difference in Fahrenheit degrees between yesterday and today.
He's correct. I was there.
It was
Okay,
85
okay.
yesterday and 55 today.
So
Ridiculous.
I just used the Googles because we're not going to use the goddamn metric system in America because imperialism.
All right, you guys use Eagles.
The A doesn't stand for France.
Colonialism, baby, let's go!
So just for you, Canadian friend, it was 29.4 degrees Celsius.
Okay, it was 5 degrees Fahrenheit here today.
Yeah. So yeah. That
The
is
F
cool.
stands for Fahrenheit.
Ultimate
this-
Atom for the
You
win.
think this F stands for Fahrenheit?
Oh, it's
The fact that
freezing my
we're
butt
having a temperature discussion right now at this point.
Okay, to end it up, I guess to end it off,
Yeah.
because we're kind of running in circles at this point, just talk about anything we want. Exiles is correct. It was a little clunky. What I would have done is if Peter looks at the drawing his daughter slapped on the fridge, I think saying one more day couldn't hurt. Like saying like, oh, I'll give it another day, instead of just saying like, I don't remember what the exact line was, but
Yeah.
I don't think he was like directed as like as an actual slight, more as like accidentally kind of lined up.
It's just it's
I mean,
it's
it's a
something that people
phrase.
say all the time. It's like, oh, maybe I'll
Yeah.
give this thing one more day, one more try.
Or maybe I'll
You
give
know.
it one more day. Face it, you might not be cut out for this, or maybe I'll give it one more day.
I do like the play on the face it, you didn't, face it, tiger, you just hit the jackpot, whatever. It's a fun wordplay, but like let's not sit there and think that this is that we need
Ponder,
to
don't ponder the orb over a catchphrase lining up.
Yeah, it's like, guys, this is this isn't what's a good I mean, this isn't the JFK assassination level of conspiracy.
Jesus.
like come on. I mean, we're not
Now it's
sitting
time to
there-
end the show.
we're not sitting there well, I'm
On that note, bye everyone.
So there is some stuff I do want to talk about really quick.
Ultimate Invasion 4 was Grassy Knoll.
Oh God. So this is actual serious stuff. For a second before I was going to talk about this at the top, but we kind of just got rolling, and I wanted to kind of so we can go ahead and put me as solo for a second. I do want to acknowledge some things that are going on. My hometown right now has been the region that I'm from originally is going through some of the worst wildfires they've ever seen. I'll leave some links in the description for if you guys feel like you can support monetarily, that'd be great. We really do appreciate it. There's a lot going on. People have lost their homes. There's been livestock that have had to be put down because of them being so badly burned and smoke inhalation and stuff like that. People have lost their homes. Had a friend of mine that literally lost every single thing she had except for what she was able to pack in the car and evacuate, and didn't have homeowners insurance. So she's literally having to start over. So it is a very, very difficult time up in my Panhandle region. But I wanted to acknowledge that. Hopefully, if anybody from that is watching on the social medias right now, I do know of people that follow us here. I'm thinking about you guys. We're all thinking about you, and help's on the way. So hopefully things will start getting back to a semblance of normalcy very soon. I also wanted to give an update on my mom, who is, as I talked about on my Mayday stream, but I don't know if I talked about it here. My mom was recently diagnosed with cancer, but she's cancer-free. They did a double mastectomy, and so she's recovering from that. She's had some setbacks on that, but I think she's starting to get back onto the road to recovery. And she is. They did all that. She is now cancer-free. So that is a lot of good news going on. So we really do appreciate a lot of the thoughts and prayers that have been coming my way as a result of that. And I do appreciate everybody's continued support. And so we will, like I say, I want people in the comments to give us their final thoughts as we start wrapping up this episode. But I did want to take a second to acknowledge those things that are going on. And hopefully if you guys can help support, if this audience can help support the people that are having to basically start over due to these wildfires. Right now, as of last check, it was almost at the same, one of the single fires is almost the largest in Texas's history. And I have a really bad feeling that that's going to get worse because it's very, very close to the worst in Texas history. So as things kind of progress over the next few days, we'll see what happens. But as of this recording, but like I say, Didn't want to end in that dour note, so we'll talk more about standing for France here in a second, but I did want to take that moment to acknowledge. So, okay, go around the horn. Final thoughts is for Tevye, of course, is that Ultimate Spider-Man is freaking fantastic and his favorite book so far of 2024. Well, Zach, when Marvel messes with favorite characters like Ben Reilly, it's hard to not to take that I want to pull out the Jordan I took that personally meme, but I'm not going to. So give your final thoughts. Javi, what do you think about this?
The first issue wasn't a fluke. I think this is a great book. I mean, it's only 2 issues, but there's already some consistency being shown that this is quality writing, impeccable art, and I would have to agree with Tevye. This is my favorite book of 2024 so far, all 2 months of it. So, I mean, go get this book, man. It's fun.
Josh?
It's classic and new.
There you go, classic and new. Josh, your final thoughts?
Yeah, it's so nice to be enjoying what I'm reading, especially a Spider-Man book, and this is definitely hitting the mark at every turn. I'm genuinely looking forward to the issue 3 and 4 and seeing where everything plays out. Yeah, buy the book.
And if you want a T-shirt like Josh's,
other way, bud.
The T-shirt like Josh's, let us know in the comments down below if you want a T-shirt that looks like that. Josh did that on his own, and it's just a beautiful shirt. Neil, your final thoughts, my buddy.
I know I'm the one who has like the most invested in the broader Ultimate Universe, but I gotta say this is a great start. I can't emphasize.
Thank you, Eric.
Oh yeah, the one we made into a YouTube short. That was a great time to be alive.
That was fun.
I watched that multiple times just to watch Javi just go
so
off.
Glad.
Round of applause for Javi.
Oh, thanks.
But I'm enjoying myself. I'm glad to see this book getting the love that it deserves. I'm glad to see it getting the sales it deserves. And I'm hoping that Hickman stays on long enough for the whole story to be completed rather than letting someone else do it. But I think we're in for a really good time going forward.
Ultimate Adam, what are your thoughts, buddy?
The wait in between issues keeps getting harder and harder.
All right.
This is what we get when we said we wanted a monthly ASM.
This is true. Ashley, your thoughts?
My thoughts? I mean, everything's been said. I really am I'm looking forward to the next issue to come out. And I also think that this series is giving middle-aged family men hope that they might become a superhero like Zach. So I think
right into me. Right into me.
I think it's fantastic, and I can't wait.
We're not doing gang war, buddy. That's funny. All right. So my final thoughts are: go pick up this book. If you have not already, go do that right now. If you have not, go find it on your you can find it on Amazon Kindle right now. You can read it that way. Fortunately, Comixology was murdered viciously by Jeff Bezos. And so, but go find it on Kindle. If you can't pick it up, if they've sold out at your comic shop, certainly try to get the second print run. Go do that. So, I will want to promote the next episode, which will be tomorrow night. I think Neil and Adam are going to be a part of that. So we get to wrap up Gang War. As Exile says, well, that was our daily dose of positive, Neil. Can't wait to see a completely new Neil tomorrow for Gang War.
Negative Neil.
Negative Neil. Mr. Negative Neil. We'll be covering that. We'll be covering 2 issues tomorrow. We'll be covering 43 and 44 of Gang, the Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 6, aka 938, legacy numbering. So if you want to listen to us talk and espouse about that, you can certainly do that. I also want to make note, if you have not already pre-ordered, next week the first issue of the Spectacular Spider-Men is coming out, and our interview with Greg Weisman is still up, so check that out if you have not already checked out the episode of us talking with JMD Mateus about the upcoming Shadow of the Green Goblin miniseries. Go check that out. You have until tomorrow to pre-order, so get your pre-order in for the first issue so that are coming out in April. I do want to acknowledge our Patreon subscribers over at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. We got our patrons like Allison, Cindy, Ed, Georgia, Greg, Janelle, Jessica, Jurgen, Catherine, Kale, Laura Howard, Lump Moose, Master Drammond, Phoenician, Scott, Vanessa, Vicky, and we're still putting Winnipeg Webhead up there. And we got Sarah Petzel, our spectacular patron, our VIPs, Scott, Sebastian, and Vinkman. Thank you guys. You see up on the screen our friendly neighborhood tier, Greg, Lisa, Ultimate Fangirl.exe, and Keyguard. Thank you guys for your support. You can start supporting us over on Patreon for just $1. But if you want to try a free 7-day trial, you can go to patreon.com/Spidey Network. If you have not checked out our other fine programs here on the channel and on Spidey-Dude.com, you can check out Voices from the Eyrie, a Gargoyles podcast. New episode has been recorded. Will be dropping out very soon. We'll have Amazing Spider-Man Classics, a new episode dropping very soon as well. Next month, we'll be doing the next episode of Slot Symposium, where we're covering everything up until Amazing Spider-Man 600. So if you want to hear that, and if you have not already, check out the Sal Buscema Era podcast. Just dropped its latest episode of Web of Music, and very soon going to be dropping a series of episodes covering The Child Within with JMD Mateus, talking about that extensively as Neil sneezes. And we, of course, check out the show that started it all, Clone Saga Chronicles, a show all about the Spider-Man Clone Saga related characters, and Spectacular Radio, our completed shows that are part of our Vault series. And next month, we'll be doing another episode of Make Mine Mayday here on the channel. So if you have not already, go to find us on our social medias at Spideydude Radio on Twitter, at Spideydude Network on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. And then, of course, if you have not already, subscribed to us on the YouTube channel. If you're listening to the audio edition, go find us over on YouTube, youtube.com/Spideydude Radio Network. And if you want your voice to be heard, 818-925-6631, or leave us an email at SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Thanks for watching if you're watching us live here on the channel. Thanks for listening if you're listening to us on the audio edition. And we'll see you next time here on the Spideydude Radio Network.